Hey, it's Fireman Tim here from Miniwargaming.com, and I have a special treat for you today. It is the completed Table 1 of our new Apocalypse table. It's one of two tables we're producing for Games Day Toronto 2009. And this one here is specifically designed for titans and tanks and monstrous creatures to duke it out. Some of the design ideas that we came up for this one is we wanted minimal terrain on it, minimal things to hide behind. So we decided that we would put some craters in for infantry to give them a little bit of cover. We'd have very few little modular pieces, the burnt out rhino, the burnt out trees. We wanted a highway leading to the city, which is going to be on Table 2. We tried to put some depth into the table, so we actually recessed the craters into the table. These are Games Workshop Moonscape craters. So actually when I traced out the pattern on the plywood, then I cut that pattern out and reinforced it underneath with more plywood so that the crater would sink right in. Filled it all in with poly filler, some coarse sand for effect to look like it actually would just the rubble from the explosion. So we went down with the small little drainage ditch on either side of the road that we filled with skulls and dead people and all kinds of little Imperial Guard paraphernalia. We went down with the ditch and we filled it with some two-part epoxy resin with some brown ink mixed in to make it look kind of a dirty, murky, full of malaria and bacteria and you name it, just nasty. And so there's Imperial Guard equipment and skulls and body parts littering the whole area. We didn't just go down, we went up. We actually, there's a very subtle elevation increase on these two corners here. This is just another piece of 3/8 inch plywood screwed on top. It's the contours were made using polyfilla with a little bit of coarse sand put here and there. Just so we brought some depth and some height to the board, enough that the titans can move on it. Not too much, not too little, just the right balance. We have a road. The road was made with craft store fun foam. This comes in sheets. Kids use it to cut and make crafts with. Glued down, painted black, and then spray painted with gray primer just to give kind of a concrete or asphalt look to it. There's cuts and cracks and everything that have been scored into it. And then I made a stencil using a stencil font of Microsoft Word and cut out the numbers and everything in the arrow. And then I spray painted white over top of that stencil just to kind of give I guess it could be a speed limit marker or distance marker, whatever it could be. So just to give the road a little bit of character. And then finally, one thing we did the scorched grass, static grass down just to break up the brown, just to give it another complementing color to the whole board. And of course, all of our modular terrain pieces have the matching static grass on them. The trees actually look like all the foliage has been burnt off from like a fuel air explosion. Burnt off all the foliage and there's scorch marks around the base of the tree. The tops are all charred. Just to give it look like there had been a preliminary bombardment that had hit the table. Hence the body parts and all the equipment lying around. How long did it take? We started working on it back in November, just doing the assembly of the board itself. And this board was probably put together with 10 to 12 hours of work, not including drying time. Most of it was done with, the most time-consuming part of it was the detailing. Just really kind of took our time and planned this out exactly as to what we wanted the board to be. But the cool thing is there's lots of detail on it. It's not a boring board. You can look at it and find new things all the time. You can count the number of skulls that are in the dirt, and there's lots of interesting little things everywhere just to keep your eye busy. Okay, the second board will be the Imperial City. It's going to come at the end of this one. It has a canal with a bridge over it. It's going to have a large kind of a mall or a fountain with a water feature, a giant Capitol building on the far end that's going to come off the board, you know, about 2.5, 3 feet, well, about 2 feet, I guess that's about 2 feet off the board. So it's going to be really tall. It's going to have ruins on the side. It's going to have tons of features, tons of little backgrounds, the character to it, so there's a story to the board. You can look at it and see, oh yeah, that's where the Imperial Guard was loading their weapons or fueling their tanks, or that's the improvised sick bay where they're there tending the wounded. So there's going to be lots and lots of character to it, but it's going to take a while. So we have to have this table, the second table, done by June. So what, that's like 3 months I got to finish it. But we'll have it done. And the big thing is I want to invite anybody who's in Southern Ontario, or if you're in Western New York or any of the region around Toronto, come to Games Day 2009 in Toronto. Come see the boards, come play on the boards and meet the whole Mini Wargaming team. We're all going to be there. Have a great time.